everyone, and welcome back to a long overdue Natural Fibres podcast. We've been on a bit of a hiatus for good reason. We've been very busy.
Been traveling.
Lots of traveling, lots of yarn, and we have lots of updates for
Yes, this is kind of like an overview, recap, catch-up episode. And not catch-up because I'm wearing red.
Yeah, you have a full
red fit
going.
Well, I wanted to look cute and be comfy for this episode, so this was what I got.
That's fair. That's my equivalent to putting on jeans.
Skirt is the new comfy for me. It's just freeing. It's like a nightgown.
You're one step closer to your moo-moo era.
To my moo-moo era. I'm not ready to be a moo-moo lady yet, but soon.
But soon.
It's coming. I have like a crap ton of show and tell, but that can be later.
Okay.
We can do our update first.
Okay.
What do you want to start with, a reading, watching, or making update?
Watching has been limited, because I've been reading so much.
Okay.
But I did start the new Stanley Tucci, docu-series. He had his Searching for Italy, but now he's gone for a new one. And in Canada, you can watch it on Prime, and in the States, I think on Disney+. But it's essentially the same concept as his old show, where he goes to different regions of Italy.
Okay.
And eats
but
food.
not cooking. Oh, it is food related.
It is food related, but it's like he finds like what makes that region specific. And
okay.
It's really, really good.
And there's still more to talk about? Because I guess, Italy's large enough and there's a lot of regions.
There's like over 20 regions.
Fair.
Yeah.
And he probably did, a handful of
like even like when he goes to Florence or Tuscany, he's like not really in Florence. He's in the countryside.
Yeah.
And I learned that there's cattle ranches in Italy, which is really cool.
That makes sense, I guess. I just hadn't thought of it.
Yeah. So, anyways, new season is out and it's really good.
Wait, what's it called?
Stanley Tucci something.
Stanley Tucci something on Prime.
Yes. The last one was called Searching for Italy, and I recommend going back and watching that if you haven't. But I think it got canceled by the old network, and then he got picked up by someone else because everyone loves Stanley Tucci.
Everyone's a Stanley Stan.
And then, so as a result, I've been just doing a lot of reading. And let's see what I've read this month. Boop, boop, boop. Reading and listening to audiobooks, which has been determined, audiobooks count as reading.
Audiobooks count?
Yes.
I'm so mixed feelings on that. Because reading activates such a different piece of your brain.
It does, but audiobooks are still like 10 hours long.
Yeah. No, I think
commitment.
It's an almost equal investment, but I feel like they're different hobbies.
Probably,
do you know what I mean?
But they still count towards your reading goal of the year. That's my thing.
Okay.
So, like, I was tentative
You've
about this.
You've ingested the certain number of books.
Yeah, and because I put them into my Goodreads, and I keep track of them, and I felt weird about putting the audiobook at first, but I've decided it counts, and I've asked some sources. There's still mixed feelings.
You have to give a skein rating. I actually wrote down skein rating this time.
This I can do. Okay. So I think I probably left off. I'll just do from what I've read since the beginning of May.
Okay.
I read the first book in the Ransom Canyon series, 4 Skeins, and it's the new TV show on Netflix is based on the book, so I read the book.
Okay.
I'm only halfway through the TV series because
Is it called Ransom Canyon?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's one of my shows with my husband, and it's hard to nail him down to watch things. So unfortunately I haven't finished it yet, but the book was really good.
Okay.
It's based on a ranch called in Ransom Canyon in Texas, and there's a lot of like
is it romance?
Like ish, but not really, because it's like a small town, lot of micro plots going on.
Okay.
So there's like an old people community with an ex-con that comes to help them, and then there's like this whole where this guy, this is not a spoiler, you learned this in the first episode of the TV show, this guy loses his son and his wife within the matter of a year.
Okay.
And his son was like 17. Anyways, he starts to fall in love with his wife's best friend.
So it's like a small town drama with a bit of rom added.
The TV show is getting marketed as a mix between like Virgin River and Yellowstone.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
That kind of vibe.
Okay.
But yeah, the book was good, and then I read Riding the High.
Wait, skeins.
I said 4 skeins.
Oh, 4 skeins.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then I read Riding the High, which is a Silver Pines ranch book number 3.
The ranches are really coming
Only
out.
ranches. And then this one is a sheriff, newly appointed sheriff and a congressman's daughter that have been best friends for life.
So that's a rom.
Yeah, these most are roms.
Okay.
That's a 5 skein.
Ooh. Wait, what was that called again?
Riding the High. And it's the 3rd book in the Silver Pines Ranch series. Pretty much the first 2 books is just preambling this book.
Oh, okay.
Like, in my opinion, because you, like, meet the 2 characters in the first book because they're, like, sub-characters. And then you're kind of like, there's something going on there, and then the second book, you're like, yeah, there's something going on there, and then the 3rd book, they finally have their moment.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's an interconnected standalone, which is, like, most of the books I read.
Yeah.
So you can read one, you don't need to read all of them, but if you do read all of them, you feel like you're in their,
Well, it's like the Bridgerton
world.
books where you don't have to read them all to understand what's happening, but you kind of like to read them
Exactly.
all. Yeah.
And I've decided I like interconnected standalones more than series.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the series, I'm like, okay, we could have gotten to the point faster.
Yeah. A great series, I think, is better than an interconnected standalone, but I think more interconnected standalones are better than series.
It's hard to find a great series. Then I read Goodbye Eastern Europe, An Intimate History of a Divided Land. This was a 4 skein reading. This one I've been reading for a while. And
Sounds a bit dry, but interesting.
Yeah, it's a history book, essentially. But it's about, like, human history in Eastern Europe, and there's, like, a lot of, like, different chapters. One's on religion, one's on culture, one's on food. And there's obviously a lot on Estonia, so I appreciated that. It is a little bit dry and hard to get through at points, but it picks up towards the end just because if we get closer to modern day. Because we start, like, 1400s, 1500s, like, before Eastern Europe was even, like, landscaped out.
I want to read that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think it's good for, like, anyone with an Eastern European background because it makes you, like, understand more, like, why
the context. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a 4 skein, and then I read Homebound by Meredith Trapp. This was on Kindle Unlimited, so it was just, like, an easy book to pick up, and it was a female bull rider, and there's it's like a grumpy sunshine, but usually grumpy sunshine is the male is the grumpy and the sunshine is the
I see
female.
what you're saying. Yes.
And this
I
is
love all these
flipped.
tropes. I know the trope, but I didn't know the name of the trope. I love that there's just
but this
oh my
is, like,
gosh,
flipped.
my relationship's totally grumpy sunshine. That's so funny.
So this is flipped though, because she's, like, grumpy.
She's the grumpy
and he's the sunshine.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then and they've, like, known each other for their entire lives. Blah blah blah. It was 3 stars or so, 3 skeins. And then I read Dust Storm based on a recommendation from someone. 4 skeins. This one was okay. She's, like, engaged but running away from her fiance and has to, like, run the PR for this ranch.
Okay.
And her
Another
fiance
ranch.
like dropped her off. These are all ranch. The only one that's not is Eastern Europe. I gave it 4 skeins at the time after I read it, but now that I think the thing is I've read so many small town Western romances that I feel like, and modern Western romances.
Yeah. That
so
it's getting
like,
hard because they have to be pretty good to be memorable.
Yeah. So which means I feel like there will be maybe by the end of this year I'll be able to give my top 5.
Yeah.
Small town romances. And
the Battle of the Ranches.
Which is awesome.
Ranch
Most
Royale.
of these books have come out in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Granted, not all of them are great, but I mean, that's
but
fine.
they're still enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't given any like a 1 star.
No,
So
I also
none of
feel
them have
like
been stupid.
I feel like I need to be more critical on my rating system because even 3 stars is still over 50%. So I think I need to be better at that.
But I think like if you finished the book, it's gotta be like 3 stars because if it actually sucked, why would you read it?
This is true,
So
and I wouldn't finish it if it
Yeah.
actually sucked.
Yeah. So I feel like any finished book basically has to be 3 stars or higher.
Yeah, and there's a lot of books on my bookshelf. Like, I feel my Kindle Unlimited, I tend to, like, flip through them faster, but if I'm pulling a book off my bookshelf and I read, like, 1 to 2 chapters in and I'm, like, not into it, I put it back.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that doesn't mean I'm never going to read it, it's just right now it's not.
So it's
not a
scratching
thing.
the book itch.
I have 2 more.
Oh my god, okay.
Alive in Wells by Bailey Hanna. It's the first book in the Wells Ranch series. The Wells Ranch series is just...
I can't handle the ranches.
It's based in BC. Bailey Hanna just got picked up by a publishing house, which is awesome. And the books are based in northern BC. And like, sometimes I'll read a book and then I know there's other books in the series, but I'll, like, move on and then I'll come back later. I've literally been reading back to back to back with her books right now because they're, like, romance, obviously, but there's a lot of, like, depth to them. And then the second book is Seeing Red, which is a local girl is trying to get over her ex, and so there's an accidental pregnancy, another trope you don't know about, which it's not my favorite trope. And I love favorite trope is single dad trope. Do not love accidental pregnancy trope because it feels like they're just
floundering.
Yeah. But the guy, Red, so Seeing Red, he works on the ranch, but he's not a part of the family, but he was pretty much adopted by the family because he has really shitty family members, and his dad's, like, dying, and he, like, doesn't care, and anyways, a lot of drama, a lot of that going on. That one was definitely, not weirdly rated on my Goodreads right now, but that was definitely, like, a 2.5. Skein, just because I don't love the accidental pregnancy trope, and the first Alive and Wells one was 3 skeins. Interestingly, not rating them very highly, but I'm stuck in the world right now.
Well, it's like a good rom-com like series where it's like, okay, I know this isn't good TV, but I am deeply enjoying it.
I also think, like, there's certain characters that I'm really so I just started the third book that's out, Change of Heart, and I think it's another one of those series where I'm trying to get to their character.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to put in the work of reading to get to the part you want to read.
Yeah, and this, like, the 2 that are in this book are, like, my favorite characters. That's happened in a lot of these book series where the third book, or the fourth book even, is the characters that I've been wanting to read.
Right. Wow, they really make you work for it.
They do. But I also fly through these books.
Maybe different people like the different characters. Like, maybe it's
100%.
For someone else, the first one would have been their favorite.
Yeah. Where I don't really...
It's kind of like, again, with Bridgerton, where, like, I didn't enjoy some of the sibling stories, but I read them to get the info for the other ones.
Yeah, and I like a Spitfire woman, I like a bit of a grumpy sunshine, but I also like a guy who's a bit of a flirt, and I don't like passive characters.
We're learning all her likes and dislikes.
I've read too many romance books this year to
You have like a likes dislikes chart just like ready in your mind from all these books. I could make one
easily. But yeah,
you don't really need it. It'd be kind of useless, but you could just give it to your husband for fun.
Still open
Make him
to
feel
like
bad.
reading books that I haven't like that aren't within that. It's been one of those months where I want something that I can, like, at 11 o'clock at night just hook up and read.
Yeah, slurp it in.
But yeah, my next set of books that I have laid out for June are not as
ranchy.
Yeah, because I have, like, most of these books I've read on my Kindle, so it's like. Boop,
are they
boop,
more
boop,
like
boop.
a vinaigrette? Sorry, I had to.
No, they're more like Caesar.
Okay. So very closely related.
Well, because I have, like, literal books that I want to read, but I've been waiting for good weather, and picnic weather, and beach weather, that I can take my books with me.
Well, June is literally on Sunday. So when this episode comes out, it will be June. And we are hoping for good weather.
Then I will be reading physical books and not just whatever I have on my Kindle. But yeah, that was my...
wow, you read a lot. And listened to, I suppose. But, well, I guess, I've been...
The only one I listened to really on that one was Eastern Europe. And that was to finish it off because I was like, I want to finish this book, but I needed it.
I almost feel like it would be more digestible listening to it because sometimes when there's a lot of names, places, dates... reading that gets very difficult.
It felt more like listening to a podcast at one point, which was
like
good.
An educational podcast rather than a, like, reading a textbook.
Yeah, kind of. And it was the book that I wanted to read, but was not picking up at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's a good point. Maybe, like, audiobooking those kinds of books is good.
Because then you can listen to them while you're driving
and it's, like,
work.
educational. Yeah, true. Maybe I should try that. Well, I have only watching in terms instead of reading this time again. Because I've started and finished a whole bunch of shows since we last recorded, because it was like a month ago. So I mentioned this to you already, and I think you watched it too, The Lady's Companion. Did you watch it?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
the Spanish
for
one.
People who haven't heard of it. It's a Spanish show. Like, it's actually filmed in Spain and recorded in Spanish, but you can watch it dubbed in English and it's just as good. Like, I kept switching back and forth depending on if I was knitting or not, because you can't read while either speaking Spanish.
Also, sometimes the dubbing is good and sometimes
it's so cringy. Where, like, this one, the dubbing was totally fine, I thought. Like, I liked the voices for both English and Spanish, so I thought it was fine. But like, yeah, really beautiful costumes, like really fun, like there was drama, but like nothing too crazy, where it was just kind of like funny, and there's a lot of like fourth wall breaking where like they talk to the camera, and it's, anyway, the whole concept is like there's 3 daughters and their mom recently passed away, which again, not a spoiler in the first episode, and the like custom at the time, I guess, is to have like basically a chaperone come and live with you to like help your daughters find a husband. And so the family of 3 daughters need this new chaperone, and the chaperone comes in. And she's, like, I guess, like, there's more to her than meets the eye, and she's kind of funny, and the whole thing, and they're wearing, like, really beautiful costumes, and the house is beautiful, and, like, yeah, it's fun.
The cinematography reminds me of My Lady Jane, which came out last summer on Prime.
It's a movie?
It's a TV show.
Okay.
It got canceled, though, after the first season, and there's actual, like, a riot of fans that want it to
Maybe
come
it'll
back.
come back. That does happen.
And it was, like, the cinematography feel of it, and, like, the, just, like, videography of that time period is the
Okay,
same.
cool. My Lady Jane. Okay, well, that's a good follow-up recommendation then. Because, yeah, I was so sad that there was only... I mean, it's brand new, so there's only 1 season.
Yeah.
And it was, like, 12 episodes. So I, like, watched it so quickly, and I was like... It was, like, a great late night watching.
It's on Netflix,
Netflix,
right? I feel like that's more likely to get picked up. I feel like the ones on Prime don't always get picked up for a second season.
I feel like... I hope enough people watch it that it keeps going. But, yeah, that one I gave 5 out of 5 scans. Because I think it was just, like, very enjoyable. Like... And well enough written that I wasn't, like, cringing. Like, I thought it was good.
That's right.
But then I had... In between there, I finished 2 shows. One was called Arcane, which is based on a video game, League of Legends, I believe. Which I don't know anything about League of Legends, so nobody ask. I have no idea. But apparently it's, like, super popular game, and the graphics are really cool. So then they basically use the storyline and some of the graphic for the show. And at first I was like, I was like one of those things where like Adam chose it and I was like, I don't know. But then it is very, very heartfelt, and the music is really good, and the main 2 characters are sisters, and they're like you basically see them very young at the beginning of the show, and then it like fast forwards to the future when they're like adults, which sometimes I don't like that, but it actually worked really well. And it's in like a kind of science fiction world with magic instead of science, which I kind of like. It makes it more fantasy. So it was like fantasy, but lots of like fighting, but also cool animation. Anyway, I gave it 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was really cool. The storyline lost me a bit at the end, but no spoilers, so watch it.
And then come back to.
But then another one I finished was Cyberpunk, which, again, based on a video game, which, again, not my thing. This one I gave 3.5 out of 5, which is relatively low for me, because it was a bit, like, cringy. Like, it was almost written, I think on purpose it was written to sound like a video game, which just, like, isn't really my thing. It was a lot of, like, I don't know. It was a lot of fighting. It was really beautiful, like, really cool video format, whatever. But I just, like, I don't know. And the storyline ended stupid, so watch it, but with the caveat of it's not amazing.
Maybe if video game is your thing.
Yeah, like, I enjoyed watching it, but at the end I was like, I'm glad I watched it, but I don't think I'll watch it again. Okay. And then Mob Psycho, I'm still on it. It sounds scary. I think it's bad translation. I think it's supposed to be psychic, because it's a Japanese show, and it's a psychic, not a psycho, so I'm thinking they badly translated. This one's, I gave 4.5 out of 5. We are still watching it, so I don't know. First season so far, awesome. It's like really funny, really cute.
Are you watching it in Japanese?
Where we switch back and forth again depending on if we're like feeling like reading or not. Because this one has a good dub too, so it's not like super annoying. It's like this kid who's just like really soft spoken, who's like very, very powerful, and it's just really funny. Like I think a lot of this I think would convert people who don't like anime to like anime. It's like really fun and really like easy to watch and like funny. So that one's fun, but I've only watched the first season. And then I've just started North of North the other day. That one, have you heard of it? It's the one that's like an Inuit.
Oh, yes. I've
like,
seen the
Yeah,
ads.
so it's like a sitcom.
It's from CBC.
Yeah, it's a CBC like sitcom based in Nunavut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cheesy but good. Like, I would say...
Like Schitt's Creek vibes?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not as funny as Schitt's Creek. Like, Schitt's Creek, I think, is really funny. This one's more like... It's, like, not supposed to be good. I think it's supposed to be, like, show you the culture, show you, like, their lifestyle, and be, like, really easy watching.
That's interesting that you don't find it that funny, because I feel like the clips I see, because it'll play, like, say I'm watching, like, Heartland or something, or my grandma's watching Murdoch Mysteries, it'll, like, the clips will play as ads.
Yeah.
And those clips are really funny.
Oh, yeah. Like, there are those moments, and they're good, but I wouldn't be like, this show's awesome. Like, I wouldn't say it's well written, but I don't think it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Like, I think it's supposed to be easy watching. Like, it's like a 20-minute episode
like a
show.
Office or Parks and Rec kind of
like,
vibe.
Very much like, I throw it on while I'm eating lunch. Like, and I would love to see them in their beautiful, like, Inuit, like, it's modern day. So it's cool to see, I don't know how accurate it is. It'd be cool to hear from somebody who actually has been there or lives there to say how accurate it is, but I get the sense that this is accurate.
Yeah, I've seen it again mentioned in the news, haven't watched it. Especially when it got picked up by Netflix. I think it got like a little bit of play.
Yeah.
And supposedly it's supposed to be fairly accurate.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I like so far I really like it. But yeah, I gave it 3 out of 5 just because I think I enjoy it, but I'm not like, this is amazing. I don't know that I would recommend it to someone as a good show, but I would be like, if you want something fun to watch, like, I think you'd like it. It's very
I think it's interesting because it's like
way.
Parks and Rec or Office vibes, but like we haven't had a lot of that stuff recently. Yeah. So I think it's kind of out of the norm.
And
like,
it's
most
like
stuff
cool,
is like heavier
specific culture
like,
too, which I like. Yeah. And it's a lady. Oh, part of the reason I like it too is the main character. She is exactly our age. She is 26, about to turn 27.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, I feel very connected with her, like, life phase. Yeah. She's kind of figuring out what she wants to do. Like, she has a young daughter, which obviously we don't have, but, like, the same, like, just, like, figuring it out. Which I was like, like, I like a show that happens to be in your life stage.
Yeah, which is hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. But anyway, that is what I've watched lately. I've watched all of those things. Yes. Do you have a making update?
I do. I have many.
Okay, sure. I have many as well.
So first of all, I have things are making sounds. Don't mind me. I'm just yanking things that shouldn't be yanked. So there's literally a random needle in the middle. This can show my, I feel like this is, you know how there's people talking about like type A, type B? Yeah. Now we're on to type C. This is my type C knitting right here. So we're like a chunk of the way through the sleeve on this sweater that I'm designing.
Oh, I haven't seen the sleeve yet. It looks so pretty.
And so far so good. My only defeat with the design is I didn't do a gauge swatch. And I feel like the internet will come for me because I'm designing my own sweater pattern and I didn't do a gauge swatch. I know it's going to work out and it's going to be fine, but this is going to be more of like a size medium than a size large.
Well, I think though, but you tried it on the other day and it looked really nice.
But I want it to be an oversized fit. So I think if I was to knit it again for me, I would knit one size up, which is again doable because the math is mathing and like the sweater is still working. It's just if I had done a gauge swatch, I probably would have deemed that I needed to make it one size bigger. Because I already started like gauging like cast on sizes and stuff like that for all the sizes while I was starting it, and I just like underestimated the shrinkage in the fair aisle.
I wonder if when you block it, it might get a little looser though.
I think so, but I still think I'd probably write this as the medium.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So yeah, anyways, got this far.
Show it close to the camera.
And
it's so pretty. Wait, tell us what it's made of.
It is made of Koigu Andra in 2 different colors, and it's the newest Koigu yarn. And we got to showcase it in Montreal, which we'll get to.
And we introduced it at the H&H Chicago show as well.
So yeah, it knits really well, and I just like was getting defeated, I think, by my size / getting bored of it because I hit the sleeves. Yeah. And that's very on brand for me. So with that, I have another making update because when we were in Montreal, I had the toxic idea because I do really well with coming up with ideas like this and then forcing myself to like work on a timeline that we are separately but together traveling to Estonia at the end of June, and I decided that I wanted to knit a sweater for the trip, and so this is how far I've gotten.
Wait, what part is that?
The neck.
Oh, this is like a
Yeah.
okay.
I am doing
So
it. It isn't my own
pretty.
pattern. I'm doing it from a pattern, because in order to hit a month
Well,
timeline,
yeah,
I need
making
to,
it
like,
up in a month is no.
So yeah, if you saw a poll on my Kersti Makes Instagram, I was getting some suggestions on which pattern I should make. I didn't take any of those suggestions. I did a different one, also on brand for me. And yeah, so this will be the neckline, and I'm knitting Koigu Cheers and Koigu Sophie together, and it has like a blue haze.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
And I was trying to
It's
get
really
the
soft.
same kind of texture and experience that my Sunday sweater has.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
But what's the pattern?
That's a great question. The pattern will be included in the
Okay,
description.
we'll put a picture and we'll put a link to it.
I think it's by Other Loops though. I tried to do a pattern by someone I haven't done before.
Cool. I like that.
Because I was like, sure,
Well,
I could do
always
another
teaches
petite
something
knit
new.
or my favorite knitwear.
Yeah.
Love their patterns, but I wanted like that vibe but a different. So I literally like Googled designers with a similar vibe to petite knit, and
Yeah.
I got a huge list and then found from there because I
Yeah.
wanted slightly different.
But
But
spread the love, and I'm sure it'll teach you some different technique that the other ones haven't shown you.
exactly, and it's going well so
Cool.
far.
Is it a pullover?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so with that.
Yeah.
Snack,
I anticipate it'll be the sweater I wrap around my shoulders over like a white dress.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night throw on if I'm cold.
Yeah, because it's pretty cold there even in the summer.
So
Like, I sometimes wear mittens by the water because it's still like 10 degrees.
but yeah, I think it's still like once I get through I think I'm almost there actually.
Yeah.
Once I get through here, it becomes like just a knit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be flying through it,
Yeah.
hopefully. But yeah, I'm
Well, and
excited
Cheers
for
held together with Sophie makes it a little thicker than a DK, so it's like a worsted weight.
it. Mm-hmm. And I
So it'll go quick.
forced myself to also use these two colors because my inner brain wanted to just do a
White.
solid colored white sweater. And I was like, no.
No, I think this will suit all of your solid color white and blue things,
Mhm.
but it isn't solid white and blue, which I
Yeah.
like.
I'm pushing myself.
Good. Good.
So.
It's a gentle
A
push.
gentle push.
It's still white and blue.
It's still vaguely white. Look, there's pops of color. Acknowledge the color.
Oh no, there's color. There's a little bit of pink and orange. I see it.
Big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So those are my things. And I'm more likely to have that second sweater done before
Before the Andra sweater.
the Andre's done. Also, since our last, I finished my Agnet cardigan.
Oh,
that I
we'll put a
wore
final photo.
in Montreal, and I am obsessed with it.
You have to do a show and tell of it on camera next time, but
Yes.
I'll put a picture of it.
I kind of
anyway.
forgot that I finished it since we last.
Well, it's been
talked.
a while. Like, I feel like a lot has happened.
Well, I dedicated myself to finishing those sleeves before I picked up my Audra again,
Yes.
as I did.
Very
Because
good.
once I hit the sleeves, I tend to put things down.
Yes, I get it. Okay, I have a making update as well.
Okay.
This is for show and tell, so this is not for that.
I won't look.
I finished the tiny t-shirt!
That's a
I
huge
still have to
making
block
update.
it, so it's not, like, smooth yet, but I even woven my ends already.
I guess you're gifting it, because I was going to say you wove in your
T-shirt.
ends.
I know, tiny
did not
t-shirt.
weave
Look
my
at it.
ends.
It's so small and cute.
I like it a lot.
Touch it.
It's not that bad. We're back.
And we're back. But yeah, so I didn't want to weave in my ends one at a time because every time I changed stripe colors, there's an end. Actually, 2 ends, I guess, because it's the beginning and the end of each stripe. So there's so many ends, and I was like, I did them along the edges nicely, like all along the neckline and the sleeves and the bottom. I did like wove them in so there wasn't any biddies. But for the middle of it, I did the thing where like you braid them. So it holds them together quite nicely, and I think when it blocks, they'll like felt a little.
I think
Maybe. So if not, like, I mean, fine, I'll weave them in after. I don't know, but it's done. It's so
That's
cute.
exciting.
I still have to. I'll block it, and then I get to give it to my nephew. And my sister said that she wants him to wear it on our trip to Estonia. So just picture him running around in this little t-shirt.
That's going to be really cute.
It's so cute. Oh yeah, and
He's gonna love
again, it's the Amelie T. Jr. made of Sandness Garden Sunday. Oh, and I have so much yarn left over. I had 3 balls, 50-gram balls, and I have like almost an entire ball of the gray because there was like tiny stripes.
Mhm.
I have probably
You could do
like
another
an
one.
eighth of a ball of the beige and like half or more of the ball of the purple. Like I have a lot left. So if I changed the color order, I could do a matching
It would look
one.
also completely different even though it's the
Yeah,
same colors.
'cause
Like if the purple got dominance changed to the gray, it would be a completely
Oh
different
yeah,
vibe.
like I think I have enough for the gray to become the beige. So and then it would have to swap around because I have the least amount of beige, so the gray would become.
Is the beige the dominant color? I guess it is.
Yeah, because there's 8 rows of beige for every 6 rows
Would you
of
make the
purple.
beige then the purple, or would you make the beige
The
the gray?
beige would be the gray because I have the least amount of the beige. So I could make a tinier one to go with for his little brother, but his little brother is already almost the size of him because they're less than a year apart.
Yeah.
Or they're, oh wait, no, a little more than a year apart, sorry. A year and 14 months or something. So they're like pretty much the same size. So I feel like if I had made another one, it would have to be the same size.
Yeah.
Which I'm not ready to commit to that yet because this was one of my like biggest things I've ever tried to do.
And the goal is that not only does your oldest nephew wear it, but your youngest nephew can wear it too.
Exactly.
And then hopefully, well, knowing your sister, she'll hold on to it.
Yeah, and then
then
other like cousins of theirs, like my kids or my sister's kids, can wear it too.
Mhm.
Because it's also very like gender neutral.
And it's
Like,
really
a girl could
durable
wear it
too.
too.
It's
Yeah.
definitely going to last, which is awesome.
I hope so. Like as long as it's taken care of properly, I think.
Like
yeah.
circa a couple years from now, it'll just get passed down.
Yeah. But yeah, so yay, tiny t-shirt. Woo, woo, woo. And then in
The smallest
very
thing you've ever knit.
smallest and most dedicated thing I've ever knit. I guess like some of my blankets I've crocheted took the same amount of time and the same amount of effort, but this felt like the most like slog because like there was a long time in the middle where I was like, these tiny stitches are making no effort. Like
When
no
you started on the
progress.
sleeves, I would have given up because
The sleeves though, it was only like 12 rounds.
Were
or
you on
something.
tiny circulars or
Tiny circulars? Yes, and that leads me into this that I randomly started because we were in the car for 20 hours last weekend driving to Long Island. I randomly cast on a sock with no pattern. And this yarn this woman gave to me at the yarn store for free because she said she didn't like it. So it's a 25% nylon, 75% wool random sock yarn
Okay.
that she like bought and didn't
And
like.
you were like, I'm a start a sock.
And I was like, you know what? This is good practice because I like it, but I'm not like, this isn't my favorite yarn ever. But I think it's a great yarn for a sock practice.
If you caught the sock bug, I would be flabbergasted.
Well, so then I randomly, because I had the 9-inch circulars, which are so tiny, I don't know if you can even see them on camera, but I had these 9-inch circulars that are 2.5 millimeter, and I was like, well, that's perfect for socks. And I was bored in the car, so I threw these along in this bag and started knitting literally based on what I've overheard people mention is their stitch count, which is 64 stitches. Which I don't even know if that's what I wanted to do.
It looks kind of like what it should be, though.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
I think I would probably... I think I might pull this apart because there's only like, I don't know, 8 rounds or something. Because it got too dark in the car and I was car sick. But I think I would do less stitches. I think I'd probably do like... I think you can do it in any increment of 2. So I think I would probably go down to like 60 or something.
That's fair.
Because I have relatively small feet.
On that, if anyone's used the goggles in the car for knitting, please let us know because I've seen people use the goggles and I don't know anyone personally.
Yeah.
So I'd like some reviews on the car goggles.
Yeah, like the motion sickness goggles.
Because I get very car sick if I'm not the one driving.
Yeah, same. And like I want to wear them even if I'm not crafting. Because I get car sick if I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Or sometimes even just like texting someone back on my phone makes me feel sick.
Yeah.
So... yeah,
and I have so many things, like, I can read weirdly in the car if I hold my book up here and I don't look, if my eyes leave the book,
then
I get car sick. But
yeah.
if I only stare at that, and I only do that if I'm, like, really, weirdly, when my husband and I drive to Muskoka, I read a book, and I think it's because I know those roads, and, like, I can, like, focus on the one thing. Plus, I'm usually in the middle of a book where I'm like, I need to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That being said, any other activity, knitting, trying to do work, trying to post on Instagram, cannot do.
Yeah, it's... ugh.
So,
Well, so maybe the goggles are life-changing.
maybe.
Let us know.
Please.
Because
I
I would
too much
honestly
time in the
not be
car.
embarrassed to wear those, like, every time I go in the car.
No, there's influencers I see that have them that knit. So again,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah, no, I'm in for it. Wait, I had one more thing. Oh, that you were making your sweater for the trip, and since I finished Tiny T-shirt, I might actually get to cast on a sweater with these two Andrew skeins. One lemon yellow, and one's cream. With but because it only takes 2 skeins to make like a boxy sweater, and I think I will just use your mom's pattern that just came out, the Cloud 9 sweater, which I will put a picture and you can look at the pattern. But it's just like a boxy drop shoulders seamed sweater, and I think I could knit that up like really fast, because it's on relatively large needles, and yeah. So if I got that done, that'd be so fun to wear it. And then it would be like...
And you could also wear it tied around your shoulders over a cute dress. Because that would look really pretty.
Yeah. Well, and like I think I'm just going to pack pretty much only dresses for the trip. So
that's
this will
my
go
plan
perfect.
too.
Yeah. And I think, I'm going to do like uneven striping.
Yeah, that was my next thing I was going to ask, is if you were going to do that, and I think that makes sense.
I think uneven striping will look nice.
Like almost even the same, maybe slightly thicker, to the striping of the tiny T-shirt, but the same kind of like...
Yeah, like slightly varied striping. Yeah. So yay!
I think you should cast on this weekend.
I think, yeah. And I have the needles, so why not? There's nothing stopping me. I have the pattern. I have the needles. I have the yarn. But do I have the energy? But anyway,
if you put on a good bingeable show, you will.
Yeah.
You should try Ransom Canyon.
Okay, Ransom Canyon. I do need... Oh, or what did you say? The Lady Jane?
Oh, Lady Jane. My Lady Jane. It has a bit of fantasy in it, though.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't
As a
include
warning?
that. Just as a trigger warning.
I actually can't do fantasy.
Trigger... Actually, do you remember those books? Do you remember going to the library in your elementary school?
Yeah.
And there was always those anamorphic books.
Ew, no, yeah. There were weird ones. Is that
like
one
where
of them?
they like the person turns into like a horse or the person
Yeah,
turns
yeah,
into
yeah,
a dragon?
yeah.
I need to figure out what those books were called because they did distinctly remind me of my
There's
elementary
always like
school.
the dragon prince or something, and the prince is actually a dragon who's actually a prince, and then there's like this.
And
whole
I can
thing.
like visualize those.
Well, there was that
book
series.
No, the book series that has them on the covers.
Well, I don't know if it's the same one we're
Okay.
thinking, but it might be. It probably is. Probably. I mean, we're in the same.
I'm gonna look for
area.
it, and then maybe we'll bring it into the.
But there was also the one side topic, but there was also one that was like owls. Do you
Yeah,
remember
that was different though from the ones I'm thinking of.
Okay, but those weren't human. They were just like humanish owls.
Yeah. So this is like a human
that?
show based on Jane.
Seymour?
Yes.
Is it?
Um,
oh wow.
Yeah.
Good for me. That's weird.
But it's like an alternate telling. So instead of
Okay.
her getting killed, what if she didn't get killed? Because she's like the shortest queen of England or something.
Yeah. That suits me.
So yeah, I think you should watch that.
Okay, cool.
And
I
knit.
have Prime. Okay, perfect. Well, that concludes the check-in, which was a very long check-in.
It was very
It's
long.
been a long time.
Yeah, we had a lot to cover. And this is probably going to motivate me to be more consistent now that we've both said, I mean, you haven't cast on yet, but I feel like saying it into the world rather than just to myself to finish this by June 30th.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, no, well, because today, I think, is 1 month until I leave.
So,
Ha ha ha.
but if you put it out into the ether, then you have to stay accountable.
Okay. Well, if not, then I can be publicly shamed.
We'll have a stoning.
Yes, a stoning. A stoning in Estonia. Sounds like a romance.
This is really tied back to like medieval England stuff. So the theme of this episode.
Do you want show and tell from H&H?
I do want show and tell.
Okay, so just for context, we, me and the owner of Koigu / Kersti's mom, went to H&H Chicago, which is a trade show, so it's not retail facing. It's only for like industry people, so like designers, yarn store owners, yarn sellers, craft people of all kinds, basically all come, and there was like 300 vendors this time or something. It was much larger than last year. So, but there was a lot more quilting booths where like I think last year was maybe like a third quilting and sewing and like 2/3 other needle crafts, whereas like I think it was about half quilting now.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it was a lot of quilting. Which actually was kind of inspiring and intimidating at the same time.
I would love to.
I really want to
I
quilt.
want to quilt. I want to quilt bags like the
I
bag I
know.
have.
I want to try hand quilting. I think that would be easier. Like hand stitching, you can quilt hand
Does that
stitch.
take forever?
But like you say that and like we knit. Like I think it would be faster than knitting.
Not current speeds.
No. But I mean like basic quilting would be like cut out one piece of fabric, cut out other same size piece of fabric, and literally hand stitch them together.
Fair.
That's quilting.
True. I think it's just that, like, we both own sewing machines.
Yeah.
So I do feel like we should both use our sewing machines rather than us both staring at them and being like...
true, but I'm afraid of the sewing machine.
I hate my sewing
I've
machine.
tried and I've made like 4 things. And
I was more
well.
prolific with my sewing machine when I was 10 when I got it for my birthday
Yeah.
than I am now.
Oh yeah, I sewed so much as a kid because I think I wasn't afraid of like making it wrong.
And I had the patience to fight with it too.
Yeah.
Because now anytime
Well, I had
pull
my
it out,
mom
I just
beside me
fight
to
it.
fix it.
Oh.
My mom is like very good with a sewing
I think my
machine.
mom just threaded it for me and then I just like went to town. Which threading it's half the battle.
Threading it is annoying. I have to watch a video every time.
I think mine needs to be what's like serviced?
Calibrate, like serviced,
Yeah,
yes.
because I think mine's a little creaky.
Well, it probably needs like cleaning, dusting.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Oiling. Anyway, but yeah, there was lots more sewing, which was cool. Wait, I have notes here. What did I write here? To give you some info about H&H. Oh, yeah, I'll put a picture of our booth. Like, the Koigu booth looked really pretty.
It looked really good.
So, yeah, we introduced some new colors. We introduced the Andra yarn. We introduced that, so that's coming actually into local yarn stores now. It's in a few already. And we also introduced officially our Sophie mohair silk lace. So that was officially shown there.
Which is what I'm knitting with right now.
Yeah, yeah. But otherwise, I will give you my,
Did you bring presents?
well, one of them's a present, yeah. It's not from me, but I will, so...
You've been holding on to it?
Yeah, I've been holding on to it so I could give it to you on camera. Because, Clinton Hill Cashmere, if you haven't heard of Clinton Hill Cashmere, I know you have. Because, yeah, the owner, founder, Becky, is, like, family friend of you guys. I think I'd met her once before, but I talked to her for quite a while at H&H. Anyway, yeah, so she owns a cashmere company in New York, right?
Well, yeah, she lives outside of New York now, but it was originally founded in Brooklyn because Clinton Hill is an area in Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, we talked to her a lot. She's really nice. And she gave us each a skein of cashmere.
I have known her forever, and Becky's awesome, and she has been in the yarn industry one way or another for a very long time. And so I feel like I've known her since she was a kid, even though we probably met when she was already in her like late teens, early 20s. But
yeah, I feel like, well, she's got to be only like 35 now, 40 maybe.
Max.
Yeah.
If you're watching Becky.
Yeah,
Max.
I don't know. Like, she looked really young, so I don't know. But, yeah, so, again, shout out to Clinton Hill Cashmere because she gave it to us, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to show it on the podcast. And she was like, okay. So, anyway, so she gave us cashmere. It is very soft. This is the DK weight, I believe.
Hats?
Oh my god, that'd be so cute. We should make matching hats. But yeah, check out Clinton Hill Cashmere if you want, like, super luxury yarn. Like, this is, yeah. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get some squishes.
Thank you, Becky.
Yes. Thank you, Becky. Do you want the fancy bag?
I kind of want the fancy
I
bag.
want the fancy bag.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
We should make matching hats for the fall.
Yeah, so that will be fun. Another take home that I have, which again, this was also really popular. There was a lot of like fun little knick-knacky things at the show where I feel like, and a lot of embroidery kits and a lot of punch needle kits. So I think a lot of like multi-craftual kind of things are taking off right now, which I like.
I like that word.
But yeah, this is by M Creative J, and I got them at the like sample it sale where you can buy like things at wholesale prices. But they're peel and stick embroidery patterns.
Oh, those are so cool.
So they're like little patches.
Wow, I feel so stupid. I now know how that works.
Yeah, so you like peel and stick and it like washes off, which obviously like that's been a thing forever. But I love the way that they're just like little things. So And I like, not that I couldn't come up with these designs myself, but I do like to just have like some inspiration. So
and also
I'm
have like a brain dead project.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm gonna stick these onto like things that have a hole or a stain, and then all of a sudden there'll be like a worm or a mushroom instead of a hole or a stain, which I love.
Do you have a old jean jacket?
Not one that has any holes or stains, but I could
Just
make it
for
like
fun,
customized,
yeah.
yeah. But my thought was to like mend things with these.
That's fair.
Because I have like, you know, a couple shirts that like there's like a coffee stain, but like if I put like a bumblebee,
would be really
it'd be
cute.
adorable.
Yeah.
Or like I have
Or a
a
little
cashmere, yeah, like the big ladybug. Or like I have a cashmere sweater that has a hole, and I could like embroider a worm on the sleeve instead of the hole. How cute.
That would be
So
really
anyway,
cute.
so I think that's really fun. So yeah, these are by M Creative J, and I got 2 packages.
These are super fun.
And then I bought myself this also by this brand that I've always thought their booth, which I'll put a picture of because I took some pictures, at H&H is so pretty. It's
Ooh,
this
there's a
Japanese, it's this Japanese lady. I believe she's from California, but don't quote me on that because I tried to find the info on her about page and it was not very thorough. But I'm fairly sure she's from the West Coast. But yeah, it's called Ikigai Fibres. And they always have like really colorful, really cute stuff. So yeah, I'll put the picture of the booth. But I bought this little package of 12 colors, 20 grams each. And they come with little patterns, and there's this really cute pattern that they had in their booth that was like a little cow with like flowers, and each flower is a different color.
That's cute.
It was really cute. And I was like,
I also wouldn't, like, are you just going to leave them in the box?
they look really cute in the box, but I should actually use them because there is even patterns. Like, I have the whole
That's awesome.
thing.
I love that you carted that back with you from
Oh,
Chicago.
yeah. My suitcase was so full. I think I wore 3 layers on the plane because I was like, I don't have room. But yeah, super cute. It's 100% wool, Pocketto Collective by Ikigai Fiber. But yeah, look them up, and they're very, very cute. And again, wholesale price, which was fun. But yeah, I think that concludes my show and tell from H&H. And we're gonna get along, so I won't give too many more like takeaways from H&H. But basically, it just seems like a lot of crafting like is crossing over. A lot of fabric stores are buying yarn now because I guess Joann's closed, right? So they're all kind of trying to fill that gap. So maybe we'll have like lots of like mini craft stores instead of like yarn stores and fabric stores.
Which I kind of love.
I know, I kind of like that too.
Because I feel like that makes more community than...
Yeah.
I mean, Joann's was fun,
separated.
and Michael's is fun, and it serves its purpose.
But
However,
like a small craft store that's not just yarn or just fabric, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, to cross other industries. That's the reason why we have small coffee shops beside a Starbucks or small bookstores beside an Indigo.
Yeah, like there is room for all of that, I think. So, yeah, I like that.
Was it, and it was also fairly busy too, you'd say, in
Mhm,
terms of
yeah.
industry growth?
Yeah,
That's
we
also
had
a good
lots of
sign, too.
younger stores, like, that introduced themselves to us. Like, a lot of, like, well, when I say younger, like, under 45. Which is great. Like, that's a whole new generation. Again, buying stores, making new stores, whatever. So, that was cool. Yeah, but those were
Which is
kind of
awesome.
main takeaways. But then I guess we can kind of
Wrap with
wrap
Montreal.
up Montreal, which I think I wrote something down.
I
for
came
that.
back from Montreal and realized I only bought one thing, and it was a basket for my dog Poppy to
We'll put a
sleep
picture.
in.
Picture.
And I was like, wow, I don't need more yarn. Let's be
No.
real. I go to these shows, I buy yarn, and then I use it like half the time, and then I just buy more yarn. It's a cycle. I didn't need to, but I didn't buy anything.
I only
Really.
bought one thing too, and it was stitch markers, which I can show. They're really cute.
It was a really fun show though. Very busy, awesome people. I like Canadian shows. Growing up, I almost exclusively went to American shows, which we love our friends down south, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something really fun about going to shows like the one in Montreal, and it's just like people from your backyard.
Yeah, like
coming.
it's all Canadian people. So many, like they know where you're from. It's all very like, it just feels very homey.
Yeah.
It felt small town, even though Montreal's not a small town.
Yeah.
But it felt small town.
And I really appreciated the compliments we got,
Mm.
which, I mean, that's the fun thing about doing a retail show is you can, like, wear all your knits and people give you compliments. I also shout out to the woman that said that I'm too young to remember Vogue knitting advertisements, so shout out to her. I appreciate you. I don't know who you are, but that really like
I know, does she think we're like 16?
Yeah, like I was like
funny.
like the first Koigu ad got published in 1999 and we were both born in 1998. So I mean that fully just put our age out there. But yeah, no, I thank you to that woman that said that to me because I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Oh, we'll put a picture of our booth too because it was really pretty again.
Pretty. We had a great walk.
Yeah, we met a lot of nice people and talked in very broken French. Yes. You discussed socks with someone in French, which is crazy.
Yeah, no.
We made friends with a very French old man.
And I'm still petitioning t-shirts that say no more shawls. Mm-hmm. If you'd like me to get those ordered, put it down in the comments because I still stand by a shawl, like a complicated shawl takes the same amount of time as a sweater. And if you've never knit a sweater, don't be scared because if you knit any of those large, multicolored, multi-stitch
you can
shawls,
make a freaking sweater.
Yes.
Well, I heard someone random, but overheard at the yarn store, little bitty, was this lady was learning to knit and her friend was like a experienced knitter and was telling her to start with mittens before a sweater. And I was like, mittens are way harder than a sweater.
Like,
sweater
obviously,
is like 10 times easier than a mitten.
Yeah, you could do a mitten with just circular needles and not use double points. But let's be real, mittens
a nicely constructed mitten
are double points, and you don't need to touch a double point if you're doing a sweater.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was weird advice. I was like, really? But I didn't say anything because I was like, I'm not going to undermine this lady. But I was like, I don't agree, but whatever. But yeah, I guess the only last thing that I wanted to mention, just that if you go to Montreal, we have some recommendations of things to hit up. Really good smoked meat place.
Yeah.
Schwartz's?
Yeah, I don't think we were like the first ones to discover it by any means.
Oh, God,
but that being said, it is a little bit farther out. So there's one downtown, like a different smoked meat place. We went to one farther out of downtown and loved it.
Yeah, and it's almost 100 years old, and it's like super old diner vibes. I'll put a picture.
Yeah.
What we got was so good.
Yeah, I regret that we didn't pick up food before we left the city.
Yeah,
that
it was
might have
really good.
That might have been a move.
And then we also went to my favorite thrift store that I've ever been to, which I go to every time I go to Montreal. It's just called Eva B, and it is like a multi-layered old house. There used to be a top floor, I swear to God, but I don't think it was open this time. But anyway, I got a really cute sweater, which I'll put a picture of.
It's very cute.
And yeah, so that if you go, both of those are a little ways out of downtown, so we walked like half an hour.
We walked all over the place. We went to Old Town Montreal, which if you haven't been to Montreal, definitely worth the walk because it makes you feel like you get transported into Europe for a second. And then also we spent an evening walking around Indigo, and yeah, see, there's a place for every size store, and still love Indigo. It's still Canadian, and it was awesome because they had French books there, obviously, because we were in Montreal, but they also had like a ton of local books. And yeah, I could spend hours in Indigo.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's a pretty much... Oh, wait, I didn't show my stitch markers. Where are they? They're really cute because they're made by someone in Toronto. Where are they? Here we go. She's called Soft Spoken. She's on Instagram. I'll tag her. But these really cute stitch markers that they're made with clay, cute. And then she like glazes them so they're like last better. But they're like little quilty. Wait, oh, okay. Well, I can't get it to focus, but I'll put a picture.
It's gonna sound dumb, but why I really love her stuff is because sometimes you look at things like that and you're like, I could make that. Her pieces, I
just don't like. They were kind of expensive, but I was like, I think it's worth it because I'm never gonna do this. Like, I'm just not.
Like if it was just a square of clay
then
on that thing, you could be
but
like, well, maybe I could.
They're really
so
pretty,
detailed.
and like she's a bunch of different designs, and she's really nice, and like her Instagram's gorgeous, so I'll tag her. She's soft spoken, but I'll she was in the emerging vendors spot in Knit City, so yeah. But yeah, we have lots of upcoming events from Koigu as well, so check our events page.
Come see us at the farm.
Yeah. Otherwise, this was our very long-winded update after a little hiatus.
And hopefully we'll be back again in like a week or two.
With some progress on our sweaters.
Yes. And let us know, last time we did red flags, but let us know if you guys have any topics, even if it's like maybe a deep dive into how the industry works and how these shows work, and maybe you're an upcoming you know what would be a cool topic is if someone's an up-and-coming designer or wants to open a yarn store. Again, we aren't the experts, but we've both spent enough time and we know enough experts that I think we could be a lot of help. So maybe if you have any questions, we could even go ask experts and come back with our answers.
Yeah.
So.
Or if you've been wondering about being a vendor at a show, even a retail one, like that's a good one. Like we could probably give you some insight too. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in again. And make sure to like, subscribe, etc. And follow us on Instagram at naturalfibres.pod.
And share with all your friends.
Yes. Yay! Okay, bye!
Bye!
This podcast is sponsored by and part of the Koigu family. The opinions expressed in this episode are not representative of Koigu Wool Designs as a company and are not meant to be taken as business advice. Learn more about Koigu at koigu.com and at Koigu Wool on Instagram.